Hi there, welcome back to the second half of Chapter 25, The Life and Times of Queen Trollbella. Let's see what liberties Trollbella took with her and Connor's story. The lights dimmed and all the audience members sat in their seats. The cyborgs illuminated the stage and Commander Neuters aimed the cyborg queen's spotlight at the center of the curtains. Trollbella stepped through the curtains and waved to the crowd. All the children gasped. They had never seen such a lifelike troll before. The Troll Queen went to the microphone stand and greeted the audience. "Good evening, big room of small people," Trollbella said. "Welcome to tonight's performance. As you can probably know, I am Queen Trollbella of the Traveling Kingdom. If you don't know, please ask the person beside you to slap you. I am known for many things in my kingdom: beauty, intelligence, charisma, elegance, passion. But I am best known for bringing my nation together. Thanks to my brilliant leadership, what was once a territory of greedy trolls and obnoxious goblins is now a kingdom of respectable and sophisticated troblins. Tonight you will see that the transformation before you, your symmetrical human eyes, the life and times of Queen Trollbella." Connor was already annoyed, and it was just the introduction. The audience sat on the edge of their seats. They were loving it. Trollbella dragged the microphone stand to the side of the stage and snapped at Commander Neuters to keep the spotlight on her. The curtains opened to reveal a dismal set depicting the troll and goblin territory. The merry men and the lost boys ran on stage in ridiculous costumes. The men were dressed in green and wore goblin ears over their own. The boys were brown and had headbands with horns. All of them looked very uncomfortable. "We are the goblins," the merry man announced. "We are the trolls," the lost boy said. "The kingdoms of man have forced us to live with the trolls," the merry man said. "The kingdom of fairies has forced us to live underground with the goblins," the lost boys announced. "None of us are pleased," they said together. "Oh, the agony," Robin Hood said. "Sorry, that wasn't in the script. I just thought the scene could use a little pizzazz." The merry men and the lost boys were terrible performers. Many of them stood motionless with dead eyes and said their lines like robots. Others put way too much effort into their characters and pranced around the stage. Some of them were terrified to be in front of the audience, while others enjoyed it too much. Despite their problematic stage presence, they were entertaining to watch. The children in the audience laughed at everything they said. "Why don't we put aside our differences and form our own nation?" Robin Hood said. "Robin, you're skipping lines," Toodles said. "Apologies," Robin Hood said. "I am the Goblin King and I hate trolls." "And I am the Troll King and I hate goblins," Toodles said. "How can we live together underground?" "Now say it." "Why don't we put aside our differences and form our own nation?" Robin Hood asked. "That's a great idea," Toodles said. "We will form the troll and goblin territory, start our own society, and prove we are not savage creatures." "Hooray!" the men and boys said with very little enthusiasm. Trollbella cleared her throat to get the audience's attention. "The trolls and goblins lived harmoniously in the underground territory for many years, until tragedy struck," she narrated. All the performers froze on the stage. They waited for something to happen, but nothing did. "I said until tragedy struck," Trollbella repeated. "Braid girl, that's your cue." "Sorry, I was texting," Whitney called from backstage. Using her hair, Whitney lowered onto the stage 2 pillows painted to look like rocks. The rocks gently touched both Robin Hood and Toodles on the head. The actors fell to the floor and acted out dramatic death scenes. Toodles' performance was much simpler than Robin Hood's, who convulsed around the stage for almost 5 minutes before he lay still. "Goodbye, cruel world," Robin Hood shouted. "That wasn't in the script either. Believe it's called an addy-lib." The Trollbella shot him a dirty look and then turned to the audience. "Sometimes rocks fall and you die. That's just life," Trollbella said into the microphone. With the Troll King and the Goblin King both gone, the territory needed a new ruler. Fred suddenly rose from a trapdoor in the center of the stage. She was dressed similarly to Trollbella, with horns and a brown dress. All the performers sang like an angelic choir as she entered, but none of them could find the right note or harmonize. "I am the Troll King's only daughter, Trollbella," Red said. "I will be your new queen and guide you to prosperity and... what's the rest of my line?" "My heart is so full," Trollbella whispered. "Yes, that's it," Red said. "And my heart is so full, I can't imagine needing anything else but the affection and gratitude of my people." Peter Pan suddenly flew across the stage wearing a large cardboard heart. It was completely unexpected, but by both the audience and the other performers. The children pointed him out to one another, wondering how the boy was able to fly. "Not yet, Peter," Trollbella sniped, and continued the narration. Although she thought her heart was full, the young queen soon realized something was missing. There was a void in her life that the trolls and goblins couldn't fill. Jack stepped on stage, dressed in jeans, sneakers, and a t-shirt. "I am the handsome butter boy," Jack announced. "I'm the queen's soulmate. I just don't know it yet because I'm emotionally immature. Sorry, Connor." Connor was so embarrassed, he sank into his seat and covered his face with his backpack. Trollbella was sporting a wide grin. This was her favorite part of the show. Red struck a theatrical pose with her hands over her heart. "Be still, my heart, for I'm in love," Red announced. "Now, Peter," Trollbella whispered. Peter soared out from backstage and flew in circles over the audience. The children laughed and clapped. They reached up and tried to touch him. Connor was irritated by how much they were enjoying the show. "Hello, Butter Boy," Red said to Jack. "Would you like to be my king and rule the trolls and goblins with me? Oh, how happy we will be together." "Oh boy, that sounds wonderful," Jack said. "How lucky am I to be loved by such a beautiful and brilliant troll queen. I will never find someone like her ever again. Nope, not once, not how, no way, not gonna happen. I want to be with Trollbella for all eternity." "I never said that," Connor shouted from his seat. "She's making this up." Trollbella glared down at him from the stage. "If you get to tell stories, so do I." Jack and Red ran towards each other in slow motion across the stage. Suddenly, the lights began flickering melodramatically. Goldilocks stomped out onto the stage dressed in a large yellow toad with big warts and a purple beanie. Of all the performers, she looked the least excited to be there. "I am the terrible Brie monster," Goldilocks announced. "My mission in life is to rid others of happiness. I must keep Butterboy away from Queen Trollbella so their powerful love does not inspire others. I will bewitch Butterboy with the curse so he thinks he has feelings for me, when in reality I am so hideous I cannot be loved by anyone." "Oh, come on," Connor said. "That's just ludicrous." The audience booed as Goldilocks dragged Jack off the stage. Red lowered her head and pretended to cry. "After Butterboy was taken from her, Trollbella became very sad," Trollbella narrated. "But luckily, the Troll Queen was so commonsensical, she bounced back quickly. She used her misfortune to create something positive. If I can't have my Butterboy, I'll put all my energy into being queen," Red said with a big smile. "I'll help the trolls and goblins improve their image by combining them into the Troblins. We'll turn our territory into a brand new kingdom so the world will see how much we've changed." "The Troll Queen made the world a much better place for trolls and goblins," Trollbella said. "Although it broke her heart to be away from Butterboy, the distance taught the queen a valuable lesson and a secret to success. When you can't have what you want, make the most of what you have." A big sign hanging above the stage suddenly caught on fire. It burned the end, and the curtain closed. Connor was thankful the show was over. Well, that was probably the worst piece of theater in the history of... He was interrupted by thunderous applause coming from behind him. Connor turned around and saw every patient in the hospital clapping ecstatically and smiling from ear to ear. Trollbella's show might have been stupid and silly, but it was exactly what the audience needed. It gave the patients of St. Andrew's Children's Hospital a night off from their troubles and an evening of mindless fun. When the curtains opened again, Trollbella and her company reappeared and took a bow. The audience cheered loudly, and the patients who could stand gave them a standing ovation. The performers could feel the patients' gratitude from the applause, and they bowed again and again until the clapping stopped. After the show, the characters came down off the stage and mingled with the audience. They took pictures, signed autographs, and did everything they could to make the patients feel special. The doctors and nurses appreciated how the performers stayed in character while visiting with the children, never suspecting the actors were actually who they claimed to be. Dr. Jackson and Mr. and Mrs. Carmichael found Bob and Charlotte in the crowd and shook their hands. "Thank you for such a unique performance," Mrs. Carmichael said. "It wasn't Shakespeare," Mr. Carmichael said, "but the bright side, it wasn't Shakespeare." "I've never seen so many smiling faces in this hospital," Dr. Jackson said. "It's so kind of you to treat the children to some fun tonight." "It was our pleasure," Charlotte said. "It's amazing what a story can do." It was getting late, and the doctors and nurses escorted the patients out of the multi-purpose room and back to their own rooms. Toodles was a little confused about where to go and wandered off with the other children. Luckily, the twins spotted him before he went too far. "I'll get him," Alex told Connor. "Actually, it's probably best if I do a lap around the hospital to make sure he isn't the only one who wandered off. You should share your good news with the others." Alex followed Toodles out of the multi-purpose room. Connor waited until everyone had left but his parents, the characters from Starboardia, Galaxy Queen, and the Ziblings, and his friends from the fairy tale world. He stood on a chair and whistled to get the group's attention. Congratulations on a good show, everyone, Connor said. Trollbella put together a very creative and totally fictional show. You should all be very proud of yourselves. Fiction is a matter of opinion, Butterboy, Trollbella said and winked at him. Connor ignored her. Now I have some great news to share, he said. My mom and I went into my last story and recruited 1,000 mummified soldiers to our army. We finally have enough people to face the literary villains and take back the fairy tale world. The characters erupted into cheers and applause of their own. Their spirits were already high from the performance, and the news sent their spirits soaring. Jack, Goldilocks, and Red shared a celebratory hug. That's fantastic, Red said. I'm getting so tired of the commissary. Good job, my friend, Jack said and patted Connor on the back. Well done, Connor, Goldilocks said. We couldn't have done it without you. Her words turned into a scream and the others went silent. The color drained from her face and her mouth dropped open. Goldilocks looked to Jack and grabbed his hand. Goldie, Jack said, what is it? Jack, my water just broke, Goldilocks said. I'm going into labor. All the characters glanced at one another in panic. This was such an anticipated moment, but no one was prepared for it. They were characters from children's stories. None of them knew how to deliver a baby. Quick, we need scissors, boiling water, and recycled paper, Red shouted. Or is that for paper mache? Trollbella covered her eyes. Keep it inside while I'm in the room, she said. I don't want to see a baby come out of you. Call the midwife and wet nurse, Robin Hood yelled, but don't tell them I sent you. Everyone calm down, Charlotte said. I'm a nurse. I know what to do. Bob, make some calls and see if there's an OBGYN close by. I'll take her to the operating room in the new wing of the hospital and get her prepped. Got it, Bob said. Isn't Bob a doctor? Red asked. Can't he help? He's not that kind of doctor, Connor said. There are different kinds of doctors in the other world, Red said. That just seems unnecessarily complicated to me. Bob immediately got on his phone and Charlotte quickly retrieved a wheelchair. They were in a room filled with cutthroat pirates, advanced cyborgs, and daring superheroes, but Charlotte was the one taking the situation by the horns. It was fun for Connor to watch his characters gawking at his mom, just like he told her on the blimp she was a true hero. Charlotte gently set Goldilocks in the wheelchair and pushed her down the hall. Jack held Goldilocks' hand as they traveled, and Red followed them. You guys stay here, Connor told his characters. When Alex gets back, tell her where we are. Good luck, all the characters called together. Connor ran down the hall and caught up with the others. Goldilocks, how's the pain? Charlotte asked. Not terrible, actually, Goldilocks said. The contractions weren't nearly as bad as I was expecting. Never mind, they're bad. They're really, really bad. Ouch, my hand, Jack cried. Thank goodness you're in the children's hospital, Goldie, Red said. I can't imagine a better place in the world to have a baby. Good timing. Red, babies aren't born in children's hospitals, Connor said. They're usually delivered in standard hospitals. That makes absolutely no sense, Red said. This world is so backward. They traveled through St. Andrews to the operating room in the new wing of the hospital. Connor ran ahead and held the doors for the others to enter. When they went into the operating room, there were 3 people waiting inside, 2 of whom were the last people Connor was expecting to see. Bree? Emmerich? He said in shock. What are you doing here? His friends were standing with an old woman no one recognized. Connor could instantly tell that Bree and Emmerich weren't their normal selves. They both looked pale, exhausted, and frightening. Connor, Bree said frantically, I don't know, you would be here too. Bree, what are you guys doing here? Connor said. Is something wrong? Bree burst into tears. I'm so sorry, she cried. I didn't want to bring him, but I had no choice. The door slammed shut and locked behind them. Connor, Charlotte, Jack, Goldilocks, and Red turned around and saw the masked man behind them. He had a crazed look in his eye, and he raised a revolver toward them. Tonight's surprises were just getting started. That's the end of the chapter. The next chapter is called Chapter 26, Alex Alone. I'll see you guys then.